so. Yes, men, they kill us every day for them busy, they campaign again. After they failed all the promises they made, oh, them they praise themselves. Why the masses were supposed to give them the praises we they here they run to? Move it down. I blame it on the religious leaders. I blame it on the traditional rulers. People were supposed to fight for the people, they don't compromise. Shame on the rebellious brothers. People will cry with us during answers. Today them don't join those oppressors, they eat love. Something on the smell of. Very soon now we go perceive them. We have up where this government they cause my time bomb. It go soon explode. Revolution they come more. It is very close and they feel more. When the power of the people we triumph, the power of the people in power. They no even care, they no even send. Say the people they die of hunger. Hungry dog is an angry dog. One day you go bite the owner. Idle man is the devil workshop. Many youths for Nigeria no good job. And the country the youths got no future. The country is gone, that's on period. Move it down. I blame it on the judiciary leaders. I blame it on the electoral officials. People were supposed to save the nation, but they collect it bribe. Shame on the armed forces. People were supposed to protect the masses. One of them they shoot us anytime they hear our voice.
Kiwe wesu garani orianja nine oria nine nke prita kwa samado dendo nihi na ọ bụ naanị gị bụ onye na-agwọ ọrịa anyị wee na-akpọkụ gị onwe gị bụ simile nke ndị agha ka igwe mere anyị ebere ka akwa nke anyị na-ebe ka ude nke anyị na-asụ wee bịa n'iru gị ka iwe eme ka Biafra wee guzosi ike ka anyị wee n'ikpeta mazụ nya ha sọgotụtara nsọpụrụ na ịja mma site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi ise mma mma dịrị gị Chineke mama dịrị.
What's that, Martin? We're not fighting each other. We know where we're going. We're going to get Biafra. There is nothing anybody can do about it. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. I need them to understand this. We've crossed the Rubicon, the point of no return. There is nothing anybody can do. If I'm alive, if I'm dead, if I'm wherever I may be, Biafra will come. If I'm dead, it's even better because it will come far more quicker. I can assure you. If Biafra is fighting for you, no one will touch your property. If you're fighting alone, you're bound to lose it. So Biafra is the best. We will become the 16th member country of ECOWAS. If Nigeria doesn't release those properties, then we'll take them to court and we'll get them back. Even twice the value. The Jews had investments all over the world. Most of the priceless artifacts and paintings belong to many families in Germany. It was stolen by the Nazi Party. Do you know that? Eventually they got everything back with compensation on top of it. That's what we're going to do. If you touch our investments, we'll come back for you, and we'll know where we can get it from. So there is nothing for anyone to worry about. It's only if I'm not stopping you from being a Nigerian. If you are born on the streets of Lagos and you want to be a Lagosian and your name is Adama, oh well and good. There's no problem.
Welcome, 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 fellow Biafrans, lovers of freedom across the world. I thank you for joining me once again on our evening section. I appreciate everyone that has joined, wherever you are joining from. Remember, it's our evening section of the program, and we will not take much of your time. We are going to try to be as quick as we can to be able to round up on this program. It's just a wrap up of reminders and greetings, and again, we'll go into some Nigerian media events, and we can be able to compare it to what is happening as we always do. We do comparison, we bring information from Nigerian media, and we share so that the world will see how corrupt the Nigerian media is and how they are trying to distort issues. Remember, today is Sit at Home, and I appreciate every Biafran that has participated in Sit at Home. Today's Sit at Home was a great success. As always, it was a very great success. It is so. Sometimes when I get the report of the Sit at Home, I feel inspired, because just when they thought we cannot do it, they thought when they take away our Prime Minister Mazi Simon Ekpa and they are holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that there's no way we can be able to pursue our desire. There's no way we can be able to stand up for ourselves. But we have proven them wrong. The Biafran people have proven them wrong, that the responsibility of our freedom is lying on every single one of us, and we are ready to take up the challenge. We are ready to take up the challenge. We are showing that not just in words, but in action. That is why today, when you look at what is happening everywhere here and there, you see that Biafrans are standing tall. Most importantly, at this time, where you find out that a lot is happening in Nigeria, at this time where the whole world is focused on Nigeria. This is a very interesting period that nobody that cares about humanity, nobody that cares about life in Biafra land, in Nigeria, that will not be active. This is not the time to pretend. This is not the time to say, oh, this is not, this is that. No. This is not the time to complain. We have passed that time of complaint. We are in a time of reality. Something that we have all wished for. Something we have all prayed for. What every one of us have been crying for a long time. Finally, it is happening. Finally, it is happening. And because of that, my fellow Biafrans, we must be grateful. We must be grateful. And as the opportunity has presented itself, if you are a genuine Biafran and you are genuinely seeking for freedom, there is no reason why you have to allow yourself to get distracted. There's no reason you allow yourself to be looking into things that are senseless and meaningless. This is the time that we need to be very, very serious and committed to the cause of Biafra. Because this opportunity that presents itself now doesn't come all the time. A period where the whole world turned their attention in Nigeria. A period where Nigeria lie cannot fly. They lied and lied and lied and lied. They went ahead to try to drag other countries into the issue. But yet, the people of the world are just there watching. The people are there just watching. And there is no way they can be deceived. Nigerian deception have lasted for too long. It has lasted for too long. The pretense of Nigeria have lasted for too long. And the world have said enough is enough. Today we are in a time that The reality is staring at everyone. The reality is staring at everyone, and there is nothing anybody can do to try to push away the truth. A truth that Nigeria has hidden for a very long time. A truth that Nigeria has hidden for a very, very long time. Finally, that truth is out. So anyone that cares about humanity, you cares about the indigenous people, they are losing their life on a daily basis, this is the time for you to act. This is the time for you to speak more. This is time for you to lend your voice. Lend your voice. I say it time and time again that everything we are saying or we are doing is not to please anybody. It is not to dehumanize anybody. It is not to criminalize anybody. And it is not for hate. It is not to instigate violence. But it is for security, to save the life of the indigenous people. The indigenous people in Nigeria have become an endangered people in their own country. They have become an endangered people that you wake up in the morning, you are not sure if you're going to live the next minute. You wake up in the morning, you are not sure if you are going to survive the next minute. That is how bad it has become. That is how bad it has become. So every one of us have to be very, very careful. And when we are talking about the situation of Nigeria, people should learn to remove their sentiment. And I'm talking to those who claim to be one Nigeria. And these one Nigerians are not only the Yorubas or outside. There are still some Igbos who are part of this so-called one Nigeria, protecting their fraudulent achievements, protecting their own selfish interests, and they do not care about human life. All matters to them is about their mercantilism. That is the only thing that concerns them. They don't care. It is high time everybody begin to walk away from this mindset of me, 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 me. We're in a time when we have to talk about us. We're in a time when every discussion should be about us as a people. Every tribe, every region that found themselves in that contraption called Nigeria, it is a wake-up call. It is a wake-up call. If you do not seize this opportunity, if you don't seize this opportunity, it might never come again. Every one of you here know how long it took for this opportunity to come. Some of us have waited for this opportunity all our life. Some of us have waited for this opportunity all our life. And finally, now that the opportunity presented itself, why must you play with it? Why would any sensible person joke with this opportunity? Why would you still continue to listen to criminals? Why will you still continue to listen to blackmailers? Why will you still listen to liars? People who lie with everything in them. As we speak, you see people who are still denying the genocide against Christians, and it is still happening as we speak. Catholic Church lament, killer herdsmen now targeted Taraba communities. That is it. While they are busy castigating Donald Trump, the herdsmen, the terrorists, the bandits are intensifying in the attack. Now they are attacking more often than they normally do. They are attacking more people than they normally do. And that same government that is busy ranting cannot do anything. They cannot do anything. There is nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do. They are just there watching and complaining, pushing propaganda. They spend more money in propaganda than they can spend. Even the money they spend in propaganda will be enough to quell the insecurity. The money they spend in promoting propaganda, pushing counter narratives, sponsoring counter protests, it is enough to pursue and get things right. But they will not do it. Why they are busy attacking Donald Trump? Bandit is rampaging everywhere. Bandit attacking Kasena community. Kill 4 residents, including pregnant woman, abduct others. In Katsina, Just recently, it just happened today. Today, bandit attack in Kasena community. Kill 4 residents, including pregnant woman. You see, when we are talking, they are busy calling Trump name, and they are not even doing anything. It is about propaganda. They are busy paying people, busy paying anti-protesters, paying different kinds of people instead of going to work. And you tell me that Nigeria is going to be good? Only an idiot will believe that Nigeria will be salvaged. Only an idiot will believe so. But I thank you, for Donald Trump. He's not giving up. He's not going to. He's not going to give up. He's not going to. He's not going to give up. Everyone who comes along and join these people to antagonize the United States government is part of the problem. And we must not fall into this their lies propaganda. We must not fall into it. The insecurity in Nigeria is created by the government, sponsored by the government, orchestrated by the government, and being fed by the government. Up to this moment as we speak. Up to this moment as we speak. It is still going on, and they can't do nothing. We have seen in several instances where even the Nigerian military come with the terrorists to invade communities. We have seen eyewitness accounts where people report how Nigerian military joined the terrorists to come and take over their villages. I will never get tired of speaking about these things. That was how Mazen Nanikano was shouting and shouting and shouting since 2010 before his voice I heard. And today now, he is inside and he's still facing, calling on the genocide against Biafrans. So this genocide is not just against the Muslims. The genocide of Biafrans is the one that they are afraid of. They don't even talk about it. If you go to Imo State today, you will see mass graves everywhere. Some of us have forgotten that at a point in time, Imo State government announced that people should come and carry their corpse in mortuary in Imo State. All the mortuary in Imo State were filled up with human remains. All the mortuary in Imo State was completely filled up. There was no space. And they were forced to begin to announce that people should carry their corpse. Tell me, how will somebody know that he has a corpse when you are doing a mass killing? How will somebody know that there is a corpse somewhere when you did not tell him when you abducted the family member? You didn't tell him where you took him to, only to execute people on the road and take them to the mortuary. It is so sad. It is so sad. And this very thing is sponsored by the federal government of Nigeria. Everybody knows about it, but they continue to pretend. Now that a wake-up call have come all the way from the United States, instead of them to go to work, they are still busy ranting, they are still busy abusing, they are still busy cursing, they are still busy pushing propaganda and blackmail. They are busy paying agents to come and lie on their behalf. They are busy lobbying everywhere instead of going to work to settle the issue. As we speak, the terrorist activities is increasing. In fact, it's just as if they were woken up, they were called to come and start kidnapping now. When we were having our program in the morning, somebody gave a report that said it's not a program. I think I saw a note. There was a message that came out. A message, a kind of warning about the new activities of the terrorists. I'm going to try and see if I can find that message and read it. It's an intel that came out warning everybody to stay away. That the terrorists, because of the announcement have made, they know that definitely the United States is going to take action. They know. And because of that, they have started another strategy. This is it. Somebody wrote it on my WhatsApp group this very afternoon. Somebody put it there. He said, "Good morning, everyone. The information reaching us now is that owing to the security news in circulation about Donald Trump's U.S. invasion, US invading Nigeria to fight against Islamic terrorists. The intelligent information gathered is that these terrorists will be going for mass kidnapping. The information is that these terrorists will be going for mass kidnapping of both young and old and be using them as a shield and protection for themselves in their hideout. You see, they are embarking in mass, and that is why you are hearing about kidnapping every day. They have increased in the attack everywhere. They want to kidnap as many people as possible that they can use as human shield. This is how evil these people are. So please, let us avoid unnecessary trips these days, especially late nights or early morning trip. Inform your loved ones too. Any event that warrants late night traveling, please avoid it. Almighty God will always protect us. We won't be victim of bad news. You see, this is information that is coming. That the terrorists want to embark on mass abduction so that they can abduct as many people as possible that they can use as human shield in all their camps. That is how evil they are. So every one of us have to be more careful. You have to be more careful. You only go out when there is need for you to go out. No going out in late hour and no going out very early in the morning. You must be calculating. If you don't have anything doing outside, there's no point going. This is not the time to attend programs where you take charter a lorry or you charter a car. It's not necessary. It's not necessary at this time because these people are out. They are out. The attack is in almost everywhere today. There is attack of the bandits everywhere, right, left, and center. As we see, bandit attack Kano community, abduct women, including 4 nursing mothers. You can imagine. Bandit attack Kano community, abduct women, including 4 nursing mothers. You can imagine adopting a nursing mother. Adopting even a nursing mother. What else do you what else wouldn't they do? These are the people that they are negotiating with. Even in the midst of negotiation, the criminality is increasing. Why would anybody think of negotiating with terrorists? It's only because they have a hand in it, only because they are part of the sponsorship. That is why they will say that. But those of us who are Biafrans, we must not relax. Just as Mazen Nandekano is fighting the front line, we will stand with Mazen Nandekano 100%. It doesn't matter what result becomes on 20th. Already speculations are going, people are afraid, people are thinking what will happen. I don't care what happens because I know that Nigeria will do what they want to do. Whatever they want to do, they should go ahead. But we, the Biafrans, how prepared are we to face them? How prepared are we? We got to start preparing for the next level. We need to start preparing for the next level because the Janjaweed are not stopping. We need to get preparing for the next level of action. We need to start preparing. The insecurity in Nigeria is not a joke. It is increasing by day. Even with the announcement of Donald Trump, they have increased it, planning to abduct as many people as possible to fill up their camp with civilians so that when the United States come and see that as civilians, it will be difficult for them to penetrate. They want to use human being as shield. Wherever you are and you're watching us, send this information to your family members. Send it to your friends. Whether you are living abroad or home, send it to people you know. Tell them that this is not the time to walk around late hour. This is not the time to attend occasions. This is not the time to go for merriment. This is not the time for party. It's a time for people to be conscious of their environment. It is a time for people to be security conscious. You have to be very, very security conscious because anything can happen at any time. Every one of us, wherever you're watching this video from, I urge you in the name of Chukwu Abiyamo, do not allow the enemies to overtake you. Do not allow the enemies to distract you. They are going to try as much as they can to bring their distractions, but you must not allow them. The insecurity in Nigeria is so much, so much that there is nothing anybody can do to stop it. There is nothing can do. The only thing that can stop the insecurity in Nigeria today is disintegration. Divide the country along people that have the same value system, and peace will return. That is the only solution. Divide the country along people that have the same value system, and peace will return. If you don't do that, prepare for the worst to come. If you don't do that, just prepare for the worst, because they are not going to stop. If you think that the Janjaweed will stop, you think that the Fulanis will stop, they will never stop. They will even increase in the attack. I can see my brother Gerard there. Thank you so much, my beloved brother Gerard. Happy sit at home to you, my brother. I appreciate you for all your wonderful, wonderful effort in helping to share information and helping to reach out to others. I appreciate you, my brother Gerard. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, my fellow Biafrans, wherever you are, you must be able to stand strong and do not get distracted. Now, let us look into their media. We are going to listen to this very program together, and we will see the projection in their media, the narrative in their media, and what they are doing. It is very important because we learn a lot from their conventional media too. Let us listen to this discussion.
And the constant demarketing of the military are undermining efforts to restore peace. They stress that security sector reforms focus on professionalism, accountability, and human rights remain crucial to national stability. Arise correspondent, Friday Local, filed this report.
From terrorism, banditry, and insurgency to kidnapping and corruption, Nigeria's security landscape remains under siege, stretching the military's capacity and eroding public trust. Despite renewed operations and partnerships, deep-seated structural problems persist. At this 7th annual lecture of the Just Friends Club of Nigeria, former Chief of Army Staff describes calls by U.S. President Donald Trump for foreign military intervention as a ploy for America to establish a base in Nigeria, arguing the move serves U.S. interests, not Nigeria's.
To address Nigeria's security challenges, we must first understand what security truly means. As you know, Section 217 of the Nigerian Constitution says the military's responsibility is to protect Nigeria's sovereignty and territorial integrity.
Chairman of the event, Professor Tony Iradia, decries what he terms the comic size of Nigeria's defense budget, saying it reflects the government's lack of seriousness about national security.
They also know that our budget is a joke. Maybe we should hand over our budget to comedians. They might do it better. Because you pass a budget, the money is all released.
A former chief of policy and plans of the Nigerian Air Force calls for a holistic overhaul of national security, lamenting that the military's sacrifices are often undervalued and unfairly criticized.
You cannot have a nation that is blessed with the quality of individuals in terms of intellectual and other capacities. And we keep talking about, we should not have been together.
Other speakers blame ethnic divisions and weak national identity for undermining patriotism and the collective will to secure the country.
But the soldier the Nigerian sees on the street is not a refined officer sitting beside me. So the impression of the service that gets marketed is by the lowest level of that service.
Just Friends Club of Nigeria has since its inception in 2013 stood for social good, civic responsibility, and national progress.
In the end, speakers agree that tackling insecurity requires modern weapons. It demands a governance reform, integrity, and a renewed sense of national unity.
Alrighty, we're now being joined for a conversation around all of that by Professor Uke Ikechukwu.
You see why Nigeria is a joke. They are very good in rhetorics. Anytime there's a serious problem to solve, you see them come on their media to carry out rhetorics. When it comes to oral speech, they can speak very eloquent and solve the problem. But when it comes to the real issue, Nigeria never get it right. Just this conference they had, you see what everyone of us, they are busy. We were busy praising and exalting idiocy. They were busy eulogizing themselves with their stupidity. But when it comes to the reality of the day, you can never see any of them do anything. Let us hear what this man has to say, because these are the one Nigerians. Let's see them.
Who you saw speaking at some point in that package is the Executive Director, Development Specs Academy. Good morning, Prof. Good to see you join us on the morning show today.
Good. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
And I hope you guys are preparing for the invasion.
All right. I mean, Prof, this is actually where we're going. This is actually where we're going. What a week it has been. Are we preparing? We should put the question to you. And let me start off by asking two key questions, Prof. I know I have an idea why you are laughing. First will be your overall general assessment, because the question that you have posed to us now is probably what is in on the minds of practically everybody. Will there be an invasion? What does Trump want? But of course, you know that at the heart of what is going on,
the idiotic narrative
the
they are pushing on the media.
That
Very foolish narrative.
Since 2009 or thereabout. And of course, what this government is doing.
You care about invasion, and the terrorists have invaded you for more than 10 years.
And so therefore, the question, Prof, should be...
Herdsmen has invaded for more than 10 years. You didn't do anything.
I mean, first, of course, the president, and of course, the military apparatus. What should we be doing? Who should the president be talking to? You were close to the corridors of power, particularly the information machinery. What should be driving the narrative that government should indulge in at this point in time? And then the second question, Prof, would be that...
No, let me deal with it first.
Okay, go on.
Let me deal with it
That's
first.
fine. Go on, sir. Go on, sir.
Yes. You say, what should we be doing? And by we, you meant the federal government and the military and security agencies.
Correct.
I'll expand the we beyond these two platforms. The we includes you and I. It includes media. It includes prominent Nigerians who speak in public within and outside the country. So, if the media report about Nigeria and Nigeria's security is constantly and perpetually projecting a lot of confusion, a lot of success by insurgents, what the world will see is a nation that is in turmoil, as indicated by its own people and by its own respected media. So the question will then be, beginning with the first we, which is the media, what should we be doing? What we should be doing is not to make the activities of insurgents the primary headline, not to report in such a way as to suggest, you read a report, for instance, that, so and so place has been attacked, and the bandits said, attack this place. You find another report about the military having taken out some. You say the army claims to have. The Air Force is saying that it did this and that. The reporting pattern already has some kind of prejudice, and that's what they are getting out there. And that will also be the focus whenever they want to make inquiries about Nigeria. So the first we is the media. There's what you call national interest reporting, as distinct from telling lies. That's number one. Number two, because as they say, you're not the one to leave your compound, your family house, and go to the village square and announce all that is going wrong in your family. Media is free, presumably all over the world, but the most censored media on the planet is that of the US and those of the other developing countries. They know what doesn't get out there. And like I said, it's not the same thing as asking the media to lie. Then when you speak of the second we, it's also us. If you send soldiers and security people to my village because of insecurity, they are strangers. They don't know anybody in my place. So if we don't give them intelligence, if we don't cooperate in that regard, if we don't say, oh, there's this man we're seeing for the first time, we saw him for the first time 3 weeks ago and he's still here, if they don't get that kind of information, there won't be much help. Because you must bear in mind that these are officers and men who are trained to take on targets as professional soldiers. Now, their training says the target is there, you're to do this and that, maneuver, do Reiki, and take it out. They were not trained for asymmetrical situations where the target is embedded in a village. You want to drive out criminals from my village and they're living with us. So that's the other way. If you don't make reports, of course, there's a concern. Oh, sometimes we made reports and they came for us. That is it. Now, talking about the government itself, if you permit me, let me move from Trump to the government. Those of America will not have been saying anything about Nigeria if not that somebody told him something. He doesn't live here. So, first recall that some prominent people make statements, public statements about the condition of the impact of insurgency and the leaning. And there's a formal public statement carried outside this country, apart from media reports, saying, oh, this is what is happening. The Christians have been persecuted. And so that is number one. That's the thing coming to him. So it's information that went out. But the challenge is his response, no matter how genuine it is. One fact that will stare him in the face and say, what do you think you're doing is, Nigeria is a sovereign state. His concern is legitimate, and we're grateful for it. But the way to assist then would not be, okay, let us suppose he says, you know how he carries on, I'm going to invade Nigeria to drive out, quote and unquote, non-Christians who are killing Christians. That would be a brilliant idea. But who will he bomb? Who is in the northeast? So what will he use to determine which areas that you don't have people that should be bombed? So let's separate a dramatic statement from a feasible and possible and logistically conceivable line of action. An invasion, if it happens now, how do you disaggregate who to be shot and who not to be shot? I believe his statement is very important because it points to a reality we cannot deny about unrest, about banditry, about farmer clashes, and about also clashes that suggest all minds, all kind of sorts of sectoral persecution. We need cooperation, not a war.
Thank you, Professor Kichuku. We need cooperation, but not a war. However, some people argue that parts of Nigeria are already currently at war, with territory being lost to terror groups like Makuya or Lakurawa, Boko Haram, or ISWAP. We even have terror groups fighting each other. We have groups such as Jaden saying that they're now in the Kainji forest. That we have thousands of Nigerians losing their lives every year. In fact, in the first half of this year, more Nigerians died than in the whole of 2024. Thousands of people are losing their lives. If thousands of Nigerians are dying, does that not mean that we are in a war, whether it's a war against terror or the banditry economy? Is it not fair to argue that parts of Nigeria are actually already at war?
I'll be coming there. Yes, when you see war as a situation of unrest, a lot of death, environments where law and order cannot be maintained, even when it's maintained, it can be disrupted at any point in time, and where you cannot say who can give orders and people will obey. Yes, you can say it's like war. If you also take the casualty figures, it's too hard. And you also mentioned a lot of organizations. In fact, part of the major negative fallout is what is going on in the Northeast, where every day you hear about insurgents surrendering. And Governor Bulum and those who think like him are spending a lot of money on refugee camps. That is not the way to restore anything. Those people need to return to their villages and cities and local governments. When you've been out of a place in something in the Northeast for about 3, 5, 7 years, re-desertification occurs. So no matter the amount of money the federal government spends while you're in the refugee camp, it will fall under consumption. Development is not about to occur. That money will be wasted, and that's what's happening. So yes, there is a lot of confusion in the country when you're speaking in terms of pockets of organizations that are taken. I'm from the southeast. Today is Saturday. On Monday, nobody will go out. It's been on for years now, imposed. But the question on the table for all of us is, to what extent can we say that the state is complicit? That's part of the concern. So your point about somebody can say we're actually at war. Yeah, there's a way, from a certain perspective, that is correct. Having said we're at war from that perspective, the other question to ask them is, how is this war going to be ended? What quality of leadership do we have? When we think of the need, how to end insurgency, usually our thoughts go to the military, kinetic, go and shoot them, get intelligence, but the question remains, what is the role of a ward chairman, a council chairman, a local government chairman, and a state governor? We look to the center for every solution, including if your neighbor's chicken lays an egg and is looking peculiar, you suspect it's the federal government. The truth of the matter is that when the lowest level of government is totally demobilized, not by any natural disaster, but by the implementation of the leadership to know their responsibility, there will be people to radicalize. There will be confusion everywhere.
Yes.
And recall that earlier I mentioned collaboration. Sometime, I think that was during the command of Major General M.I. Yusuf, of the multinational joint task force, which comprised the military and security forces of 4 countries, Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad, and Niger. Some of us were their guests for 10 days, and the things one discover, you ask yourself, who is really carrying out this war? A non-African country has a facility there that will enable you to see everything from the air. If I leave this studio and I'm standing outside and I raise my watch, and it's me, they will look at me, they will focus until they show the time on my watch. With that, everything going on here is seeing the movements. What kind of help are we really getting from them? On that trip, we were flown by a helicopter from Maiduguri to Jamena. The pilots were Russians. Have we considered that what is going on in northern Nigeria is needed by the global arms trade, small and medium arms? That there is also, I wouldn't want to use the word international conspiracy, but there's an economy around the confusion in Nigeria. That economy includes arms trade. It includes also the skating for solid minerals.
That is how you people run away from responsibility. Every time you're looking for who to blame.
You have those protecting each other.
You're looking for Western countries to blame at all times. You speak grammar. After speaking grammar, you remain in the same dustbin.
There has to be the climate of war because people cannot travel safely. Most sections of the country have insurgent groups. And the expectation and assumption is that there's a magic wand the federal government will wave, federal and emphasize, and it will end. A federal government can only be managing the federating units. Yes, there's also the question of command where you say, okay, the governor is really not the one who is the police officer, the police commissioner cannot obey him. And why I look at that with some misgiving is that it's been so for 20, 30, 40 years. So the fact that the governor is not, the commissioner does not necessarily instantly respond or reply, what do you call it now, to the governor, report to the governor, does not answer the question of why was there no insecurity all along since this thing came into place.
Okay.
I think from the days of military rule.
Yes, Professor. Okay. I mean, you've made a lot of valid points, and I would like to touch on one of the things that you said, where you asked to what extent is the state complicit. Now, based on the points that you've raised here, I would like to also just get your own personal assessment of the state of insecurity in Nigeria. We've looked at the statements that were made by President Donald Trump, a response to it as well, and you've also briefly analyzed how we should take interventions and how we should also accept interventions like this as to whether or not they should even happen. But what is your own personal assessment of insecurity in Nigeria and the response to those claims that were made by President Donald Trump, the swift response that we saw? What are your personal assessments of those?
My personal view is that we are far more secure now than we were sometime in the past, and I will give a couple of reasons. You see, I usually travel a lot, but I like road travel whenever the opportunity presents itself. I recall the time we could say, okay, we're going to Lagos with the children. So, okay, on this occasion, let's not go by there. And we'll actually take off from Abuja with me driving to Lagos, about 12 hours. And you stop on the road, but just the kind of train that you wouldn't say they grew up with, but they got acclimatized to with that kind of living. Now, remove traveling to Lagos, Abuja to Kaduna. Remember there was an attempt was made on President Tinubu's life on that road? Then, of course, in the south. So you cannot say we are secure. That's a fact. So in terms of assessing insecurity, yeah, there's insecurity. To now say that there is no improvement at all, probably in the last 3 years, and all of that, that will not be fair or factually correct when you look at it. But much more importantly, in looking at that insecurity, there's a factor that must always be put on the table. And that factor is the absence of, if you like, a whole of society approach to security. The other fact is the impression created very strongly in some quarters that, look, why is it? It looks like there's something giving oxygen to the insurgents and all these groups, because there are reported cases, people claim of where they're arrested, either they disappear or nobody hears anything again about them. So this impression in the background also hovers that, look, it looks like there are people who are really facilitating and funding this thing. We know of a case, for instance, several cases where you go to court. In one, a judicial officer was said to have told the arrested people who were brought in the language he knew they understood because they were from the area, to claim that they don't understand English. I mean, I know senior military officers who withstood this thing with pain, and by not understanding English, the proceeding couldn't go on. And in fact, in one instance, I think that was a case of bunkering, where they requested for evidence of the vessel they're talking about. And the prosecution said, well, these are big ship vessels that cannot. He said, well, I don't know, you have to show us the evidence. So how would anybody carry a ship, ocean-going vessel, to the court? Now, looking at all of that together, you then see that there are many variables which must be properly disaggregated so that blames are properly apportioned. How many soldiers, Air Force men, and naval officers personnel do we have in the country? What's our land area? They are now doing police work. So all security agencies are overstretched. And in the midst of that, you find that local wielders of political authority are making everybody who pays close attention to them to throw away the concept of patriotism. The way they live, the example they are setting, the amount of resources they spush, and you add to that the point made earlier about budgeting. Funding, you hear, oh, the armed forces have been given, let's say, 1 trillion. Let's just mention that for hypothetical conversation. Are you aware sometimes that probably 40% is released as against the 100? Are you aware that if you take 1 billion and then drop it, and you're giving it to me for operations, and I buy 9 MRAP vehicles, each of them, that money is gone, then take it to the most fundamental element of the funding crisis we overlook. If in 2015 you gave the military 1 billion naira, what's the equivalent in dollars? Now, if you bring 1 billion today, the equivalent in dollars will tell you that the military is being funded far less than it was being funded in the past. What the army was getting in naira, converted today, look at the dollar equivalent 5 years ago, 10 years ago, etc. Those are some of the considerations to put on the table. So there's need for deeper analysis and understanding of the issues.
All right.
The ranting in the wind, let them come here, let them come.
All right, let them come.
Let's see who will not be a casualty. No, don't quote me. I'm not saying that they come and say, that mantra of let them come.
I get you.
As if they'll come here and then transform the world for everybody. That's not how it works.
Don't let them come, Prof. The question I was going to ask, the second question I was going to ask you earlier, I'll throw it in now.
We've been asking. Wait, hold on, Steve, hold on.
Yes.
You mean I've been asking only one question all this while?
No, I mean personally that I wanted to do a
I'm leaving this serious.
Prof, you wouldn't do that. But I'm coming to a territory where you are an expert, and it has to do with language. And I'm asking, is grammar or the correct usage of sensitive words or terms, is it at the heart of the challenge that we have? And I'm talking specifically about the word genocide. If you recall, 5 years ago, during NSAS, the word massacre turned out to be something divisive. Were there killings or were there massacres?
That is the evil of Nigeria.
Back and forth.
Every time you always change narrative and paint a different picture.
This time around, the challenging word seems to be genocide.
That is Nigeria for you.
Are we experiencing
they are always quarreling with the truth.
Or are we just basically seeing killings that are genocidal?
They are always quarreling with the truth.
And how do we therefore deal
the massacre in Togo was a massacre. There's nothing less than that. No other language to qualify it.
To be nationalistic and to stand
and this
up
one now
and
is genocide. They are fighting with
their
it.
country, which we must do.
Nigeria will never allow you to speak the truth
without appearing insensitive to those who can point at their families who have been wiped off in different parts of Nigeria, in southern Kaduna, in Benue, in Plateau, in Borno.
No, continue to spit on their graves.
How do you say
that is what you come to your studio to do?
May look like genocide, but it's not genocide. It's a killing, it's a massacre, without you appearing as if you do not care.
You don't care. All of you don't care. You come to studio to speak grammar.
To the media,
it's as simple as ABC. You don't care.
And to government machineries,
the country that cares want to weigh in. You're busy gossiping.
Himself, Alhaji Mullah Mohammed, came out a few years ago to say that they could see that what was going on was a deliberate target on Christian communities. Prof.
You see, in discussing interventions in the media, we must make a distinction between opinion and knowledge. If somebody gets up and says, look, I believe that maybe the world is coming to an end tomorrow, or that, all the social and so people are being wiped out, that is no reason for excitement. The next line of action is to find out whether what he's saying is true. And if it's true, you act on it. So if Lai Mohammed said something and he had facts for it, that would then be a true statement that's distinct from a personal opinion, supported by anger, and all kinds of things we may not be aware of. So coming around to the substantive matter of genocide, killings and all of that, there have been killings. There have also been instances where the people who were killed lost their communities, and those who killed them settled in. There are at least, I think, 1 or 2 instances I've had. The third element is that
and
when
you don't see it as genocide.
Some of these things that's going on. Like, I've been quite involved in this to a degree I would rather not just go into. It is not today that Fulanese became part of Nigeria. Fulanese don't wear earrings. But we see most of those doing these things wearing earrings because they are coming from outside the country.
That is the evil. You are part of this. This is okay, somebody's. You are part of the evil. Now you see how these idiots do. They will come and shift the blame. They will shift the blame. Now you are trying to tell us that they are foreigners. And you are still the same person who will come and talk about sovereignty. Already, the terrorists have invaded your country, taken it over. You didn't fight for sovereignty in the hands of the terrorists. None of these idiots come online to fight for sovereignty in the hand of the terrorists. But when it comes to the United States of America, that is coming to fight for the innocent, every one of you suddenly realize sovereignty. Now you're going back, trying to let the world know that these people are foreigners. Where were your government when they came? How did they come with their guns? Who invited them? Who brought them in? That is the question. Now you are expecting Donald Trump to go and exchange information with the same terrorists, the same people that established the terrorist group, sponsor it, feed them, water them, and make them what they are. You see them when they come, they sit down, they speak eloquently. You think they have something to offer. Nothing. All these people are a bunch of idiots. The same thing. This Okechukwu is an idiot. He's one of the one Nigerianists. When you see them speak, you see they don't care about you. They don't care about ordinary people. They care about the money that comes to their account from the federal government every day. They care about the money that the federal government pays them to come and lie before the whole world. These are the bunch of clowns they use to come and change narrative. When you see them talking, oh, you think because he's an Igbo man, he's going to speak sense. Nonsense. Nonsense. These are part of them. You change away.
The facts. Outside of any discussion involving Donald Trump and any other person, what is the frequency of kidnap, village rates, etc., all over the country? Is it higher in the south or in the north? Are Muslims not being killed? What rankles with those who are talking about the Christian killing is that it is so blatant and they don't see any action after that has happened. Why I choose to dwell on this a bit is that you recall that when the Kaduna train was derailed, I think about 4 years ago now at least, passengers were kidnapped. One of the passengers was the son of Professor Ango Abdullahi. Professor Ango Abdullahi, at the time of that incident, was the chairman of the Northern Elders Forum. I hope that's correct.
And so, what difference does it make?
That young man could have been shot because they shot, so a lot of people died. Remember the unfortunate young man.
You see this madman. You are bringing the issue of Ango Abdullahi to now tell us that they are killing more. Do you know the amount of Christians that are being murdered in cold blood? And who are the targets? In every of that attack, there might be collateral damage, and in that collateral damage, it might involve one or two Northerners. But the main target in the genocide in Nigeria is the Christians. Why is these animals always trying to change the narrative? You are telling us about the train attack. Even in that train attack, we know how they picked the people they took away. They selected the people they took away. The son to Ango Abdullahi you are talking about, they only took him for ransom to get money. That's what they took him. And they released him at last. But the Christians among them, they took them, many of them lost their life. Many of them, they were shot at the spot. They don't give them a second chance. Why is any sensible man will come online, come on the national TV and continue to drive this narrative as if all is well? Including an Igbo man. Look at him, Okechukwu. These are the people that Nigeria gives certificates to come and tell lies. These are the people Nigeria gives certificates to come and push wrong narratives. May Chukwu have mercy on your soul.
But he was among those, Ango's son was among those apprehended alive. Now, assuming there's a northern Muslim conspiracy around that raid, what would have immediately happened would have been they would have released Ango's son. Please, and go and apologize to him.
Look at what this idiot is saying. Imagine.
Presumably fighting for a cause.
Imagine a professor saying this nonsense. A professor.
An ideological orientation. That young man was held for 3 months until the Ango Abdullahi family paid the ransom. These are the frightening facts. So
if he was to be a Christian, they will not even give him the opportunity to pay the ransom. If that guy was to be a Christian, if he was to be a Christian, being a Christian name or a son to a Christian, they will murder him immediately. They will collect the ransom and also take his life. How are you making this comparison? How can you make this comparison? We saw people where 501 Christians were murdered in cold blood. 200 people, Christians, were burnt alive. And you are comparing it with the attack that was made on a train attack. A train attack where they took away, majorly people they took away were Christians. And they only saw a man they can extort money from, and they took him, and they took the money and they left him. And look at a professor trying to drive that narrative to show the world that, oh, they are killing both. Is that how to compare the rate of death of Christians and Muslims? Is that how to compare it? Where have you seen them murder up to 500 plus in mass grave? Where have you seen such mass burial of the Muslims? Where? This is how they come. They choose one particular event that happens to suit their own narrative. They choose one particular event to suit their narrative, to change the picture of the exact. And the more you continue to tell this lie, the more the terrorists will continue to ravage you. You stay in Abuja, walking from studio to studio, going with escort. You just confess it now that you are flying with airplane everywhere with your children. You travel by air, you don't go by land. That is why you can come in a studio comfortably to lie. Idiots.
People from the northern part of the country being involved as distant from the north, driving it. If you look around, for me, I find it confusing because if I'm getting people to kill off some of my villagers in order to take over the place, and I can't go freely, my own cousins are also being killed, somebody must have my head examined. Have we considered that really, comparatively, you have more northern politicians who are afraid of going home than southern politicians? So there are so many things in the mix that it will be an unfair and one-line narrative to localize it only on one thing. Because yes, the Christianity, nobody can deny that there's that feeling among Christians. Nobody can also deny that there's that feeling among some ethnic groups. Like there's a former governor from the Middle Belt who told him that me and his family house was no longer available because we had taken over the place. They are living
this man is so annoying. So annoying.
That they took over. What actually does give some concern is, and it's a question.
You're answering Okechukwu.
Why
Okechukwu, my
is it that
food.
these people cannot be wiped out? Why is it when you kidnap people, of course, your call must go through some tower somewhere. Why is it that you're not isolated? You can say, okay, if you bomb, you're also going to, what do you call it, have a lot of collateral damage. Why is it multiplying? That's the issue. Why is the military appearing headstrong? Because people cannot find answers to these questions. Most people will scratch their heads and say to themselves and to the rest of us, there must be something going on here nobody wants to tell us.
Yeah.
And that's why there's that law. That's why Trump's position will be found exciting. Because remember, religious leaders made this a public and international issue. They refer to the media, they refer to specific communities in which this happened. The question is, even with those instances, would it be safe to generalize to the extent of using the expression genocide?
Professor,
that would be stretching it a bit. But as for killings and those activities, I agree. But to speak of a genocide is too exhaustive.
Just imagine what an Igbo man is
saying.
saying.
Instances, yes.
These are the idiots that will come on studio and they will tell you there was no genocide in Biafra land.
Professor, okay, just really quickly, because you've spoken about how that the violence affects both Muslims, Northerners, and Christians. However, we have not seen justice in certain actions that are taken against Christian communities in Nigeria. Now, of course, this word genocide is a legal definition about destruction of a group, whether in whole or in part. But very briefly, if we're talking about the people who are, you said some Christian priests have appealed to America and to Donald Trump, but there have also been indications that supporters of Biafra or IPOB in the diaspora have been agitating for this. What's your perspective on this, just very briefly?
Well, what was the first issue you raised? Sorry, just articulating. In this last question, what was the first issue you raised?
Well, my issue was also about justice, about genocide just being a legal definition.
Yes. No,
Since we're late on time, if we can just focus on those who have been lobbying the American government to designate Nigeria CPT or to come into Nigeria being supporters of IPOB separatists or Biafra in the diaspora supporters. What's your take on these people lobbying America to come into Nigeria?
You see, they understand that their interests, or they believe their interests will be better protected if a powerful nation like the US first understands their narrative and gives them some kind of support. But the invitation to come into Nigeria, is not a feasible option for the simple reason that there's no way of disaggregating who to take on. That's the essential point to note there. But you see, they had reasons, and they have reasons for doing what they are doing. If there are counter narratives to that effect, is also for it to be taken on. The sense of panic and auto response that comes sometimes with abuses will not take us anywhere. There are clear issues to be addressed. Let those issues be itemized, addressed. You can go to the international community and make a case. It's for the government to make a counter case. In other words, this is what they are saying. This percentage of it is true, but this percentage. But when you say everything is untrue, when you don't explain that some of the truth they are presenting are actually biased, they will then not take you seriously too, because you can't deny everything. There's a lot that's wrong. There's a lot of effort in dealing with those things. They've not been resolved. It's work in progress. But to deny that that the killings are going on, to deny that Christians have a right to feel, because they sometimes see these killings and there are no consequences, to deny it outright, you'll be dreaming. But to say that the nation is being wiped out, that's another extreme.
All right, Professor Okeke-Chukwu, we want to thank you for joining us on the morning show. Beautiful, brilliant solutions that you've given us there. Thank you indeed. Thank you.
He has just done what he was paid to do. That is what they do. They go and pay people to come and lie on the studio. Just imagine. They call his name okay. Liars. This is why Nigeria would never, ever be redeemed. This is a shame. But I will continue to bring it. Whenever I come across their idiocy, I will bring it so that the whole world will see. Everything they do in their media is all lie. Just like the white man said and explained, government narrative. You can never look at in the studio. They are sitting down there inviting people to come and tell them story. When you are in that Nigeria, you have the right to go and investigate eyewitness account. Go and bring witnesses. Go and verify. They will never go. They will never go out. They sit on their studio, invite people to come and speak grammar. After speaking grammar, they leave. And the genocide continues. It is a shame. It is a shame. And I pray that Donald Trump hasten to save the life of the innocent in that zone. I appreciate everyone that have joined us on this program. Thank you so much for being part of the program. And we will come to the end of the program. See you again tomorrow morning when we come from our morning section. Thank you and stay blessed. Good night and have a beautiful night's sleep. Bye.
Nigeria don't enter one chance, I swear, now go with the go so. Herdsmen, they kill us every day, for them busy, they campaign again. After they failed all the promises they made, oh, then they praise themselves. Why the masses were supposed to give them the praises we they are they run to? Who be that? I blame it on the religious leaders. I blame it on the traditional rulers. People were supposed to fight for the people, they don't compromise. Shame on the rebellious brothers. People will cry with us during answers. Today them don't join those oppressors, they eat jollof. Something done the smell of. Very soon now we go perceive them. We have up where this government they cause my time bomb. It go soon explode. Revolution they come. It's very close and they feel more. When the power of the people we triumph, the power of the people in power. They no even care, they no even send. Say the people they die of hunger. Hungry dog is an angry dog. One day you go bite the owner. Idle man is the devil workshop. Many youths for Nigeria no good job. And the country, the youth got no future. The country is gone, that's on period. Moving on. I blame it on the judiciary leaders. I blame it on the electoral officials. People were supposed to save the nation, but they collected bribe. Shame on the armed forces. People were supposed to protect the masses. But now them they shoot us anytime they hear our voice.